off with Indeedee. It looks like this is, in a way, oh my god, it does nothing, bro. Oh, Eternal Miraidon. What's good? Back at it again. It's your boy Storm, and Lord help us, what are we using today? This is not a gimmick team. Proof is in the fact that this team made day 2 at EUIC, which again is the biggest Pokemon tournament in all of VGC history. So if you're day 2ing an event like that, you're doing something right. And our boy Swan Chi, otherwise known as Suggy on Twitter and X, or Billy is something he apparently likes to be called when you meet him in an event, came up with this team, brought it to Honolulu for Worlds, and day 2'd EUIC with it. He must be doing something right. Let's not waste any time. We're going to dive into this with our 1-minute team preview and break it down. So this is Miraidon, but it's not like Miraidons you've seen before. It's not Choice Specs, it's Calm Mind. And in order to keep your health high after your Calm Minds, it's clicking Parabolic Charge. So Calm Mind gives you a special defense boost, Electricity gives you a defense boost. Now you're bulky, hitting hard, and recovering all the time. An amazing strategy. A perfect partner for this is Oranguru. Its ability Symbiosis will pass its item to a partner who's consumed theirs. So when Miraidon consumes the Electric Seed, Oranguru will toss the Covert Cloak over to Miraidon, and now you can't even fake out this dragon. Ridiculous. In order to continue to set up the Miraidon, you have double fake out from Instant and TINKATON. The TINKATON is interesting, but it makes sense in the context of Farigiraf. Fake out plus Mold Breaker means Armor Tail from Farigiraf is not stopping the TINKATON from clicking fake out. Extremely useful. Another sweet choice is Thundurus, whose Prankster can both set up Electric Terrain, offer speed control via Thunder Wave, and also use Eerie Impulse to neuter things like Caly-Ice Shadow Rider. And then Ogerpon, of course, here serving as the best redirector in the game, at least one of 3. It has 3 different forms. A perfect finishing piece for this team. If you want to hear more about the team, I always talk about it at length at the end of the video, but I don't want to waste your time. I'm so excited to watch this really crazy strategy play out. Let's get into these battles. All right. This is absolutely going to be a pain in the butt for us. The double terrain here is not going to make our job much easier. It's going to definitely make Miraidon a difficult piece to use. Mold Breaker does not prevent us from faking out in the face of this Indeedee, which is another problem. Ooh boy, this team is riddled with issues. I will say Taunt looks good on the Oranguru, but also Follow Me is going to be a problem as well. Self-Scary Face is pretty cool. Self-Scary Face is really cool. I'm kind of thinking like Miraidon plus Incineroar is solid. I mean, it's pretty good at knocking out the Indeedee and then pressuring big damage onto the Calyrex, and they can try and stop it with Primarina, but it doesn't do amazing for them. I do think we want the Oranguru and the Ogerpon as final pieces here. I mean, they're forced to bring either Indeedee or Rillaboom early on, neither of which really appreciate Incineroar being there. And while Miraidon isn't an amazing lead into this Calyrex Ice Rider, I do think that we need to be able to protect the Incin from this potential Primarina, because Incin's going to be like our saving grace into this. Plus, like, the Terastallization on the Miraidon giving us that defense boost, like, that also is not something that's, you know, very negligible. It's definitely something to keep in mind, because I don't think they have a whole lot to pressure the Fairy Miraidon after we get our defense boost. So this should consume our seed. Yup. Defense goes up. And then we can go ahead and let them take over with the Psychic Terrain, which is expected. So, yeah, they get a seed boost of their own, which boosts the special defense. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, no defense drop or attack drop for us there. That's all expected. So, yeah, Terra Fairy Miraidon looks amazing here, so there's no reason not to go for that early. The only question is, I guess we Calm Mind and go for the knockoff on Calyrex. That'll get redirected into Indeedee. They'll take a, you know, we'll take a follow me, but they got to keep pressing that. And I think at +1, it's a better matchup than you would imagine, all things considered. So we'll go ahead and see what we can do here. Now, the issue is the Oranguru is actually quite speedy, but it does have a scary face option, which is pretty cool. I don't know entirely how to feel about that. My instinct is to say that that's fine for us. We'll go ahead and take the +1 with our Terra in place. Free +1 is great. But what is this Indeedee gonna do? I'm very, very curious about this. Oh, it's just the Indeedee clicking Trick Room. Okay. Well, I have to say, I'm pretty motivated to click Knockoff and Dragon Pulse into this Caly-Ice, because if they don't redirect it, then it's going to do ridiculous damage. And if they do redirect it, I expect this to do a lot to Indeedee while also not taking much at all from the Caly-Ice. Terra Fairy Caly-Ice could be kind of a problem here. I can't imagine it's water, right? Just eating parabolic charges left and right. That is pretty good for us, all things considered. I mean, we haven't clicked Parabolic Charge yet, but I feel like Oranguru goes kind of crazy here. That's not great. +1 is not great. I mean, we have a defense boost, so it kind of nullifies it, but we're probably going to take a decent chunk here, that's for sure. Less than half is very notable. Also, that does open up a huge opportunity for us here. Probably not going to take out the Caly-Ice because we are a little bit of a lower special attack investment. Yeah, actually not even that close. Question is, no, they'd have to Helping Hand to get the appropriate double up. And I'm thinking that we just click Oranguru here. We can, I mean, we can safely cycle the Instant out, but I imagine it's a... I imagine that it's follow me. Who's more important for the end game? Probably the Instant. Let's just give... Oh, actually, I think we don't... The Symbiosis doesn't work unless we've consumed the item immediately next to the Oranguru. Yeah. So the Helping Hand will live this unless they get a ridiculous damage roll. And then if I had to guess, Miraidon goes back up to full, which is pretty nice. Wow, a little bit scary. Okay, definitely not up to full, that's for sure. But we're going to get a good chunk back. That was less than I expected, but I forgot the Indeedee had a nice defense boost. So Oranguru goes down, but notably so does their Restricted. And we get good health back from the Caly-Ice. I mean, it's notable in a world where we have a defense boost and a special defense boost, right? Also, we have 4 turns on the counter from the moment it used Trick Room, 3 turns from Knockoff, 2 turns from the KO there, and now Rillaboom comes in, and we have a nice fake out for these guys. This is pretty great for us. So, with Rillaboom's attack down, we probably can actually, like... Well, the trick... We can safely do a couple of things here, right? We could Calm Mind. So the Caly-Ice is down. We don't know what they have in the back, but we imagine the Miraidon outpaces all of it. I do feel like a Parabolic Charge plus a Fake Out is kind of the right play, because this Rillaboom is ideally Assault Vest. So we can just keep healing up the Miraidon, and then also, like, protect through the last turn of Trick Room. We're going to blow up our own Inson's spot here, which is not great, but I don't know if we actually die. We'll see. Into the Miraidon is kind of fine. Yeah, we're just really bulky right now. Yeah, I mean, even trading Inson's health for Miraidon's health is, like, not bad at all. Get a little bit back from the Rillaboom, and a nice chunk back from the Indeedee as well. Okay, back up to half, which is very, very notable. Plus the Grassy Terrain recovery is huge. Plus the Citrus Berry proc means we're doing good. What's interesting about this team is how you sort of trade your own partner's HP for recovery onto Miraidon, which is like really, really wild. Also really unique that playing slow Miraidon in Trick Room against Terra Water Calyrex really flipped this matchup on its head. So now I believe it's one turn of Trick Room left. And in that case, I'd like to protect and just Will-O-Wisp this Rillaboom. Because the Rillaboom is kind of an issue if it starts launching massive wood hammers off into Miraidon. If they call the protect here and they just blow up the Ensign, it shouldn't be a big deal because we should be slow enough to get the Will-O-Wisp off first, and they're already at -1. Yeah, missing would be bad there, but it looks like we land it. So now this Rillaboom isn't really doing a whole lot of anything. I also think we're in position now to just start Dragon Pulsing. I mean, I can't imagine -1 burned Rillaboom is doing anything to +1 defense Miraidon now that it's at like 60% HP. Like, I feel pretty motivated to Parting Shot out on the Rillaboom and depulse this Indeedee. Well, actually, I don't feel that good about that. I think we got to knock off here and just rely on the fact that our Miraidon is, like, not going to take anything from this Rillaboom. The Trick Room is just not great here. Yeah, not upset about that at all. So +1 Dragon Pulse into +1 Special Defense Indeedee means we're not picking up this KO. But we do polish it off with Indeedee. It looks like this is, in a way... Oh my god, that does nothing, bro. Oh, Eternal Miraidon. Feels so good. All right, so that clears out the Indeedee. I think this game is a wrap, bro. -1 Rillaboom that can't switch out. Whew. That's also burn. What am I thinking? So who's next? Is it Dragonite? Because if it's Dragonite, yeah, that makes sense. So we just protected. Got to be extreme speed, right? So I'm thinking some healing and another Will-O-Wisp. Outrage isn't coming out. Iron Head is like a worst case scenario, but again, we're at +1. How much does this do? I mean, that's almost a negligible chunk. So yeah, we'll just get some recovery going to make sure that, because like a critical hit from the Rillaboom at that range might KO, but not anymore. I mean, who knows? Probably not. It's hard to say. I mean, that would make him go from a -1 to a neutral and, you know, then ignore our defense boost, but I feel like Parabolic Charge was the right play there. God, that is just so sad. That Rillaboom is really not having a time. Okay, I say we let our sandwich munching robot dragon clean this game up and move on to game 2 victoriously. That was a dominating lead. Thank you, my boy. What's my boy say? Billy, Suggy, Swan Chi. So many different names to call the team's creator. Thank you to my man. Awesome team. So I feel like the Rillaboom is the one who's doing the least amount of damage here, probably, right? So I guess we just depulse the Dragonite and knock off the Rillaboom at this point. Man, landing these Will-O-Wisps was great, but okay! That's a cancellation. Nothing makes the boy happier than that. That's a convincing first game victory. I say we move right on along, boys and girls. Follow me to the next battle. Okay, so this is a more obvious choice here. With the Tinkaton Thunderous combination against opposing Miraidons, this is a pretty straightforward set. The question is, how do we clean it up? Because Surging Strikes is certainly imminent. I feel like Intimidate is just too good against that Ogerpon plus Iron Hands combo. And Will-O-Wisp just goes so crazy against Iron Hands. I feel pretty strongly about this lead. I mean, this is a really high-ranking player, so it'll be a tough one for sure. But I do think the matchup is kind of in our favor here. It's kind of funny. This team is so unique that it's hard for me to know exactly what matchups are good or not good. It's more like the matchup roulette you play is entirely based on your comfort with the different modes that this team offers. So I believe I feel pretty comfortable with this mode. We'll see how the battle plays out. Yeah, like this is pretty great. In my opinion, it's hard switch out for Miraidon because they should be aware that this fake out is coming in and coming in hot. Right? But what happens in that case? I mean, this is a really high-ranking player. They should know about the TINKATON fake out. I kind of want to Calm Mind and fake out the Farigiraf. Yeah, I figured that was happening. Because if you just, if you expect that we're going to be able to... Yeah, in the Iron Hands. That was like a worst case scenario fear for me, was that they were going to respect the fake out. We would just fake out the Iron Hands and Trick Room would go up and we would lose all of our momentum. So, I mean, that was certainly... I mean, I'm covering my bases here. Heavy Slam, Iron Hands won't feel great in the electric terrain for sure. But we should live it. Fake out does nice chip. Now we're at +1. Question here is, how much are we going to do to a Farigiraf when we're at +1? So let's say it's the standard, we're +1. So Dragon Pulse will do upwards of 90%. Which means Gigaton Hammer just needs to do, you know, 15. They're at +1, and it's a frickin' Tinkaton, but it's also Gigaton Hammer. All right, the game might come down to this damage roll here. Yeah! That's huge. That's really big for us. Heavy Slam, not great here. Drain Punch is good, though. I mean, good is kind of a relative term, but Drain Punch, not bad. They haven't Terra'd yet, which is pretty notable, which means they can pretty safely go... That's interesting. I don't think they're respecting this play here, which is Feint plus Parabolic Charge, just eliminating the Urshifu. Unless it's like Terra Grass or something. I'm gonna go for it. Ooh, Terra Grass would be pretty bad. It's on the Urshifu. Tell me it's Terra Water. Stellar. Beautiful! See, that's what I'm talking about. When you're comfortable with the matchup, and you have the surprise factor at hand, then this can be like a pretty lethal team. So I feel very good about standard Arubega Miraidon stuff. I mean, the team has been out long enough, right? And Tinkaton is kind of like a busted matchup into it. What's great now is we have fake out pressure onto the opposing Miraidon. Jeez, that did a lot. I don't think they have Heavy Slam. Oh, we do have fake out pressure. But what's better? What's better, huh? I think they already Terra'd, right? Yeah, Terra Stellar, so D-Pulse goes crazy here. In that case, it's definitely the Insect. So I had to keep all my pieces in line. I think this game's wrapped up. I think we just proved how well this team matches up into this Miraidon version. Because the -1 here just blows up the Iron Hand spot. Fake Out plus D-Pulse should just eradicate the opposing Miraidon. I clicked that very fast. I feel very confident about this, but also LOL at Covert Cloak opposing Miraidon. No, it's not Covert Cloak. They switched out turn 1 trying to dodge out a cheeky fake out. I mean, they made an awesome read. It's just that I felt like we could see through that. Ah! That guy was ranked like 300 or something. So that's a pretty good win for a team that I have only just picked up today that is also extremely quirky. But again, that's what I wanted to talk about. We'll talk more about it at the end. Yeah, it feels good for me, but also, like, that guy was playing at a major disadvantage because I think, A, I was familiar with the mode that does well into standard Arubega Miraidon. B, he was unfamiliar with this team, which led him to make some plays that, like, were not ideal, like going Terra Stellar or Shifu and not expecting the feint. So, I mean, it's the reality of playing closed team sheets on the ladder. The game looks different when it's open team sheets. But, you know, I'm making this video for you guys to play CTS, so please try it out. Yeah, it's going to come down to learning the modes. But again, we'll talk more at the end. Let's go into game 3. Next restricted, another Miraidon. Okay. And this one is another really crazy one. Because this is like everybody has Quark Drive. And if I had to guess... that's Tail Glow Volbeat, which is motivation for me to click Taunt into it. Because I think Volbeat gets Tail Glow Baton Pass. So this is like bullshit. Tail Glow Baton Pass into Miraidon and then have Wide Guard and Icy Wind and just like complete nonsense. That being said, trying to think what's like the best stuff into all of this. I mean, Incineroar looks good, but except... I mean, it's good from the angle of like intimidating and burning those opposing threats, but those threats also like kind of body Incineroar. It's good into Chi-Yu. I think we have to try and use it and then rely on the Sturdy from Ogerpon coming in handy too. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of going all in on the Symbiosis Covert Cloak stuff, turn 1. But also, I feel like what I actually am doing is going all in on not dying to taunt. So, we'll see how this plays out. So, there it is. Whoa, okay. Not quite what I expected. Yeah, I don't exactly know what to expect here. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I mean, I can quickly go on Showdown and try and look at Volbeat's moveset, but like, I know it gets a billion status moves that are all Baton Pass, Encore, Light Screen, Moonlight, Protect, Rest, Sleep Talk, Sub, Tail Glow. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Terra Fairy. We gotta make a read here. We're gonna go with Terra Fairy, Calm Mind, and Taunt in case it's Encore or something. Like, I'm hoping for a Draco Meteor or like a Volt Switch into my Oranguru. Honestly, I'm hoping for a Volt Switch into Oranguru. Draco's not bad either. Okay, just a Tailwind to start. It has Encore, though. And Baton Pass and screens and stuff. Okay, Volt Switch is fine because we already saw we live this. Not well, but it is a live. We now know that they can click Electro Drift. We also have Calm Mind up, which is pretty great. Iron Hands here is not amazing. It's hard to say what's going to go down. This is definitely a really true... Yeah, there's the Iron Hands. Taunt's going to go wild here. Mental Herb is a problem. I mean, I obviously didn't see the Mental Herb yet. Again, like, another advantage you have on this team is, like, sometimes opponents will miss the Symbiosis interaction and not realize that this Miraidon is now holding Covert Cloak. Let's see, is this Mental Herb? It would not be a surprise to me. It's not. In that case, how does Instruct... How does our Miraidon using Dragon Pulse against the standard... Iron Hands set look. Dragon Pulse at +1 has a very, very bad chance to KO. But if we Calm Mind and Instruct, I mean, we have that +1. Then, I mean, okay, Volbeat comes out here, sure. Chi-Yu comes in. Wow, we definitely could have blown up this Iron Hand spot now. That's for sure. Yeah, see, I don't know why, but I had a gut feeling that that's what was going on here. The Iron Hands coming in felt so juicy. They're definitely, like, confused as for what's happening. Okay, but check out the Instruct Calm Mind play. Oh, so good. Thank you for the Beads of Ruin, too. Really appreciate it. Okay, so now we're at +3, and we have Beads of Ruin up, which we have a 60% chance to KO. That's pretty juicy. I'm going to Instruct here. Yeah. So we kill the Iron Hands no matter what. And if we do kill it, we have a good chance of KOing the Chi-Yu. Okay. We still have a really, really high chance of KOing this Iron Hands. With Beads of Ruin up. That's huge. Also, that HP dropped fast. It's probably Covert Cloak Volbeat. They haven't Terra'd yet. Do you want the fake out now or later? I think later. I think definitely later. Spooky, spooky. Locking themselves into Heat Wave, I'm sure. How do we look? How does our Parabolic Charge look against a Chi-Yu? Assuming it's just like Scarf. Wow, we Oko. In that case, we just Parabolic Charge and follow me. Because if they're not Scarf, then we're like in a massive position. And if they are... then, yeah, this is good. This is amazing. This is so good. Okay, I think we found our win. Let's see. Yeah, because the idea here is this Volbeat is just going to absolutely melt. Well... I mean, okay, that's amazing, obviously. No, this is it. That's it. Sorry, I just keep pigeonholing myself into focusing on the attack boosts from Calm Mind, but our special defense was through the roof. That game was over for sure. Okay. That's game, folks. Double Miraidon KO and a Caly-Ice to boot. Let's head back over to team preview, where I will talk about this lovely team before we wrap up today's vid. Okay, back in the lab, breaking down this team a little bit more in depth now that we've got a couple of games under the belt. So here is the deal, folks. This team has a lot of different options. A lot. You go Miraidon Oranguru, get the Covert Cloak up. Go Miraidon Incin, get the Fake Out, plus Pressuring Intimidate. Go Miraidon TINKATON, get the Fake Out, offer Feint to break Wide Guard. Go Thunderous, go ahead and use Eerie Impulse, give yourself some Thunder Wave action, Sludge Bomb the Whimsicott. Ogerpon follows me after you got the Calm Mind set up. There's just so much going on here that I do think the advantage of this team is other people will not be prepared for it. The skill ceiling is really high. There's a lot you can innovate with just within the different choices and opening patterns that you recognize while you're playing. I think something that I noticed was the Oranguru is the most difficult piece to use. It is max speed. So it's actually 1 speed point slower than TINKATON, which TINKATON is extremely bulky. It's Assault Vest with a ton of bulk. But you can actually go Gigaton Hammer and then click instruct and get Gigaton Hammer off again, which is like pretty cool into like certain matchups. The idea behind this speed, Swanchi talks about it on his Twitter post, is that you can outspeed most Incin, most Raging Bolt, and most I can't remember what the last one was. But that allows you to like get some pretty cheeky like double play roughs off, double Gigaton Hammers off. You can use instruct after like Miraidon hits and let the Miraidon go again. So like the Oranguru has a lot of speed in order to outspeed some of like the slower mid-tier like staple Pokemon. And that's something to keep in mind, that again, yeah, you can hit Dragon Pulse once, then instruct before the Raging Bolt gets to go again and hit another Dragon Pulse off, which is really unique. The Thundurus is really interesting. It offers so much different like control. I'm questioning whether or not the electric terrain is going to come up very frequently, because in games where it was like the Indeedee and the Rillaboom, I didn't necessarily feel like resetting the terrain was important because this Miraidon isn't a powerhouse, but I'm sure I'm misunderstanding the broader application of Thundurus. Could be to go ahead and reset like the terrain in the case of Amoonguss coming out or something coming out to spore the Miraidon. That's something that I didn't get to explore in these battles. Could be an opportunity to use it there. But yeah, I do feel like the Wide Guard shattering with Feint, the Armor Tail shattering with Fake Out, you know, the Instruct, the Scary Face, the Bulldoze. Oh yeah, also, that's another thing that didn't come up. You can Scary Face a Calyrex Shadow Rider, and now your Oranguru is faster than it. Because again, you're at 123, you Scary Face a Shadow Rider, cut its speed in half. It's not going to be any faster than that. So Oranguru can now get off, again, Instruct before the Shadow Rider has a chance to move, which a lot of people won't be expecting. So it's a lot of interesting stuff packed into here. I'm going to link the PokePaste into the description as well, so feel free to check that out, review the stats yourself. I do think the key to this team is reps. I would go on Showdown and play a lot of games with it, learn the different openings that make sense. I'll link Swanchi's original Twitter post. He has a little bit of advice on how to pilot the team there. But yeah, it's certainly fun. It's quirky and unique, but it seriously has some incredible matchups once you get the feel for the team. Highly recommend it. Go ahead and give the original creator some love, you know, show his Twitter post some appreciation. And if you enjoyed today's video, show your boys some love. Why not, right? I sat here and did my best to entertain y'all. A little like, a little sub could be nice if you want to help me feed the algorithm. But that's all I have for you today. I'm sure shorts will be posted over the coming weeks. Remember, I stream on Wednesdays on YouTube, 6 p.m. EST. Please come join me. It's the most fun I've ever had doing any sort of content creation. Love doing the streams. That's it, people. Your boy Storm signing out for tonight. Enjoy the team. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.